Hi, I'm Ani Anderson.
I'm Brian Trzaskos.
We're the co-founders of the Somatic Coaching Academy.
And co-creators of sensation-based motivation coaching.
Brian, I got the mail today, and we had some questions about somatic coaching.
Owl post? Did they come by like owl post?
Pigeon?
You know, like Hogwarts stuff?
No, I just went to the mailbox.
Oh, okay. Mail. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
You want to know what they are? Because I'm really excited.
Let's do it. Let's open them up.
Cool. So here's the first question. Ready?
Okay. And who are these questions from?
People who are interested in somatic coaching.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
What are some of the most important factors when choosing a somatic coach training program?
Ooh, good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah, we like that one. So for me, Ani, one of the most important factors when you're thinking about a somatic coach training program is it trauma sensitive? So not only trauma aware, not only trauma informed, but is it trauma sensitive? And the reason that's important is because when we're talking about somatic coaching, which is really coaching that's centered around our bodies, our physiology, how we function internally, we know that our behaviors, the way that we operate in the world, is informed by a whole bunch of things that we pick up during our lives, and over 90% of everybody has had significant trauma in their lives.
I think that's really important because we think it's only a small percentage, but it's actually a super large percentage. Like, we've got to assume that everybody is walking around with some kind of trauma.
Yeah, and it's not like you have to be diagnosed with PTSD in order for trauma to impact your life in some way. Oftentimes there's very subtle things that show up that we just can't seem to figure out, can't seem to course correct, can't seem to get a different result around. And any limiting belief that someone has, any person that I've ever worked with, ever met, who has what we might consider a limiting belief, which is a belief that gets in your way from achieving something, is always informed by a trauma that they had in their lives.
So don't assume that a certification program is trauma-informed and does help you to gain trauma-sensitive tools, because it doesn't necessarily. Definitely check it out. And that actually leads me to my tip, which is check out the founders of the program, like what their background is. Because somatic coaching, and you just said it, but I'm gonna say it again, somatic coaching is body-centered coaching, but it's really the backgrounds of the founders that are gonna inform the program. So there's founders who are psychologists who have then done some body-centered work, and they've created somatic coaching programs. There's people who are healers first. We're actually rehab therapists first. I'm an occupational therapist, Brian's a physical therapist. We're both massage therapists, energy workers, manual therapists, Qigong and Tai Chi instructors, a whole bunch of stuff. So that informs how we teach our somatic coaching methodology, which is sensation-based motivation coaching.
Yeah, so make sure you match up with the philosophy of the founders.
Definitely.
So the third, really, I think the third most important thing to think about, which is an extension of these top two, is look at the container of the program. And check out the syllabus. So I'm going to say that because I love to check out curriculum and syllabus information. Is it cohesive? Is it interesting to you? Does it fascinate you? From a kind of physiological base that we come from, our syllabus is just packed with physiology and science, how the body functions, how it informs us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, how it helps us form predictive and functional and positive behaviors, all those kinds of things. It's all baked into a syllabus. So if you really look closely at it, you get a really good idea of what you're going to learn in the program and how exciting is it for you.
Speaking of exciting, I want to talk about business because I get really excited about the business stuff. And you take a lot of certification programs, they never teach you anything about how to actually go out and have a business doing this stuff. And that's something that we love to do. But you really need to check that out about the curriculum. Is there business stuff either baked in or as bonuses? One of the things we love to do is support our community with monthly office hours well after graduation, so they can keep coming back and asking us business questions. So it's stuff like that that I think you should really check out.
And also check out, including all of those aspects, is the length of the program. What's happening within the container of the program? How well are you held within the program? What are the guidelines of the program? Because in a really well-structured and supportive somatic coach training program, because you're learning somatic coach training tools in the program itself with the cohort and the community that you go through, you're going to end up being a different person on the other side of the program
that's true.
if you're held really safely in the program itself. So check out the guidelines, check out the qualifications of the instructors, check out the personalities. Do you match up? Are you a good fit for the program and the other people within it? That's really important to consider. How well are you held within it to get a really great outcome for yourself and for your clients on the other side?
Your instructors should have super high integrity and be super fun.
Yeah.
Right, Brian?
Absolutely. All right.
Right, okay.
Next
Do you want to do the next one?
Sure.
Okay.
Hook
Here
me
you
up.
go. Let's see what it says.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Who wrote that?
Did you not bring your glasses?
Is it important to have a process for somatic coaching?
I know this is really important to you, so do you want to start that one?
Sure. Yes, it's important to have a process for somatic coaching. For all these folks that Ani mentioned before, like who the founders of the program are that you're being involved with, whether they come from, psychotherapy backgrounds, healer backgrounds. Some people have somatic coach training programs and they have a marketing background.
Yeah.
So they have a whole different thing that they're coming from. And I think there's a lot of people doing really great work out there in the world with somatic coaching. However, like we mentioned before, whenever you are working with someone's body, 100% of the time, if you're making real change for a person, you're going to meet trauma responses in somebody's body. That's how it works. You can't avoid that. And as trauma sensitive and somatic coaches, we shouldn't be trying to avoid that completely. We should be working not to re-traumatize people for sure. We also have to know what we're engaging in. So the important thing about the process is when you have a tested process, when you're working with people in their soma, in their bodies, it gives you a predictable pathway to get people through challenging times to end up more positively fulfilled and safe and empowered on the other side of that process.
So two of the reasons I think it's important to have a process is, one, if you don't, you're really relying on your intuition.
Yep.
And it can get a little confusing when you're working with somatics because you're really tapping into your client's intuition. So that can get a little wonky. If you don't have a process, it's like, is it you? Is it me? What's going on? So it's really important. The second thing is, I can be a little lazy. No, I've been doing this for a really long time. I love helping people, but I want my job to be fun and energizing. At the end of the day, I don't want to be drained. I want my job to be life-giving. When we have a process, we lean into the process.
Yes.
The process does the work. And at the end of the session, it's like, oh my gosh, that was so amazing. And I still have so much energy. That's so cool, isn't it?
Especially when the beauty of the process, like what we've done with SPMC, is the process. We have a little saying that our students say is, work the process, and the process works every single time.
Just do the process.
And the crazy thing is, this is exactly true. You can have people show up with all kinds of different challenges, and we're not trying to solve the challenge that someone's experiencing. We're just working the process with the person, and the process comes alive within the experience, and the person has a dramatic and incredible change.
Yeah, for sure. So much fun. Let's see what the
What's next?
third question is here. Speaking of fun. I love it. Is your program hands-on?
You like this one, so take that one away, Ani.
Well, people like to, you can answer it two different ways, right? Like, people like to ask us this because with somatic coaching, people want to know, do I have to touch people? Like, is there a massage? Is it like energy work? Do I put my hands on people? And the answer is no, it's coaching. So it's inquiry, it's conversation. And no, you don't put your hands on people. But Brian and I have put our hands on people for a very long time. We have licenses to touch, it's called, right? As
Yep.
OTs and PTs and massage therapists and all that stuff. So really what you're doing is you're doing body work without your hands. You're doing energy work without your hands.
Exactly.
And that's so cool. There are so many practitioners, like manual therapists, for example, who use their hands all day long, and they want techniques that they can do to have really great transformations in people's bodies without using their hands, so they can save their hands, and you can do that with somatic coaching. It's great.
Yeah, and one of the things we hear very often from people that come in and train with us, and actually this was my experience as well as a person who was working in people's bodies as a physical therapist and as a massage therapist, kind of getting in there and working, is a lot of the people we train who have those backgrounds and they're doing manual work with people, because again, you're working in people's bodies,
Yeah.
stuff can come up for folks. Stuff can come up in the process of doing it. And many of our students said, the reason we wanted to come in and train with you is because stuff comes up in session with people and we have no idea what to do with it.
I don't know what to do with it.
I just don't know what to do with it.
But with somatic coaching, you do.
Yeah. So you have actually a way to help work the process, and the process works in tandem with doing manual work, if that's your thing.
If you feel like something's missing from your practice, I pretty much guarantee you that's it.
Yep.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Absolutely. What do we got here, Ani? Okay, here we go. Oh, this is awesome. So obviously, this comes from someone who's been hanging out with us for a little while and super interested in and excited about this, because we are too. Somatic coaching sounds amazing. Shouldn't everyone learn somatic coaching?
No, absolutely not. There are some people out there who are into the no pain, no gain, push through your fear kind of motivation. And somatic coaching is definitely not for you. There's coaching that's about, more superficial things, and that's not a problem. Like, it's really helpful to do things like, how to calendar, or how to, cook meals, or, do your nutrition or stuff like that. But somatic coaching is really deep and transformational. So if you want to create deep transformations, great. But if you don't, it's not for you. If you don't want to be vulnerable or work with people's emotional content or feel deeply connected with your clients, it's not for you.
Right, and there's a little trick here, right? It's a little secret, Ani, that we could probably share. For some people who are like, I'm not comfortable managing or sharing or working with people's emotional content, well, here's a little tip, right? The way we talk about it, emotions are actually two things. Emotions are both the way you feel in your body and then how you judge or label the way you feel in your body.
Yeah.
So emotions are actually two things. They're sensations plus thoughts.
Yeah, so working with the emotions is really popular right now because it's really important. And when you're working with the emotions without separating out the sensations, you're working with these stories, with people's conditioning, how they think about things. When we unravel them and work with the sensations, we're actually working with the base level component of our nervous system. It's really cool, and you don't have to get messy with it. Is the thing. It's actually it's really cool. I love it when our students see this for the first time and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we just worked with the emotion, but we didn't really work with the emotion."
And I wish I knew to do that the whole time, because when coaching professionals get tangled up in people's emotional stories and narratives, as Ani's saying, that's where they get taken off on a sidetrack, and they're like, I had no idea where we're going. I couldn't manage it. We couldn't deal with it. Someone was more upset at the end, maybe even more re-triggered or re-traumatized. So we bring it back down to that core base of that sensory component.
Well, when you work with the sensations, the process just takes care of itself. It's the interesting thing, right? Because you're really accessing deep parts of the subconscious mind. And of course, we say the subconscious mind is your body.
Right. Your body is your subconscious mind. Right?
Yeah.
So when you work the somatic process, the process works. This is why it's so really important to, like you've said before, Ani, to step in with confidence, to really understand I can lean into the process to make this change deep in the body, because it's a process that helps someone navigate the subconscious mind. And, the subconscious is kind of gets a rap for being this dark, scary, unfathomable, kind of amorphous kind of place that you have no idea what you're grabbing onto in there, and what's real and what's not real, sort of thing.
There's good stuff in there too. And you can access it with your sensations.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what with the process we're talking about, we can really get it in there and create really a safe transition for people to have a really great outcome on the other side through the body, because that's the entry point for the subconscious mind.
Let's look at this last question here.
All right.
Is somatic coaching marketable? We don't really recommend that people market themselves necessarily like on their business card, somatic coach, because what people are looking for is results. What kind of results can you get your clients? And with somatic coaching, you can get amazing results, especially nowadays since the pandemic. Everybody is dealing with some kind of stress and anxiety and overwhelm, chronic pain. These things are more prevalent than ever before. And somatic coaching does all of those things really well. So we recommend that our somatic coaches market themselves to the results that they can get. Yeah.
And there's actually an interesting distinction here too, Ani, that there's somatic coaches and there's somatic coaching skills.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And so you can be a certified somatic coach who has somatic coaching skills. You can also be a leader, a manager, a police officer, a teacher,
caseworker,
whoever,
you name it,
that uses somatic coaching skills in their work. So you're still using those skills in order to help your people around you get a better or different result for themselves. Really, coaching effectively is helping someone get a different result, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so if you just look at coaching or coaching skills, somatic coaching is tapping into the wisdom of the body to get very quickly to what the core problem is, to then flip it over and then get an empowered outcome on the other side that lasts, that really sticks.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to know more about somatic coaching, come join us at our website, somaticcoachingacademy.com. I encourage you to go to the top of the page where it says events and click on that, because we have info sessions, we have trainings, we have all kinds of stuff, and of course our certification programs right on the website.